welcome to 1/6 Scale. Hope you're having an awesome day. In this DIY video, we're making sweaters for the dolls in a 1/6 scale, and we are making them from a pair of socks. I made these sweaters for the dolls from a pair of socks, and they're really cute. They have little cuffs and a waistband and a neckband, and the neck is really stretchy, so they fit over all the dolls' heads. These sweaters are a one size fits all. They fit the original, the petite, the curvy, and the tall Barbies. To make the sweaters, all you need is a pair of socks. You can use any colors or patterns that you like. The socks that I'm using for this sweater is a shoe size 4 to 10. And all you need to make the socks is a needle and thread. They're all hand sewn, so there's no sewing machine required. They're lots of fun to make, so let's get started. To make the sweater, you start with a sock. At the top of the sock, there is a band. At the bottom of the band, take your ruler and measure down 8 centimeters. With your scissors, cut across at the 8 centimeter point. This piece of the sock is going to be the front and the back of the sweater. With your scissors, cut this piece in half. Cut on one side of the piece, cut on the other side of the piece. And now you have two pieces, one for the front of the sweater and one for the back of the sweater. Turn the pieces over so the wrong side is facing out. At the top of the sock, at the bottom of the band, with your ruler, measure in 2 centimeters and make a mark straight up. And on the other side, measure in 2 centimeters and make another mark straight up. With your scissors, cut down the line that we just made and then cut straight across to the end of the sock. And then also cut down the second line and then cut across to the end of the sock. Now your piece should look like this. We've cut down the neckline and across, and this will be the shoulders. And we've also done it for the second piece. So you do the same for both sides of the sock. The neck piece that we just made is folded in half. So with your scissors, cut the piece in half. And now you have two pieces. Keep the front piece on. This will be for your neckline. And then there's a back piece that we just cut. With your scissors, cut that piece off. Fold the neckline in half, and with the needle and thread, we're going to sew across the bottom of the band with a basic crossover stitch. When you finish sewing it across, it should look like this. This will be the neckline for the sweater, and you also repeat it on the other piece. Now we're going to sew the sweater together. This is the outside of the sweater, and this is the inside of the sweater. Take the two outside pieces and put them together, matching up the neckband and the shoulders. With your needle and thread, sew the neckband together using a crossover stitch. And when you get to the bottom of the neckband, sew across the shoulder. This is what the sweater looks like now. We've sewn down the neck and across the shoulder with a basic whip stitch. And then we came back with a standard stitch and went across the shoulder and back up the neck. This is what the sweater looks like now. This is your neckline and this is the shoulders, and we've sewn down the neckline and across the shoulders. So now it's starting to look more like a sweater. This is the front and this is the back. Now we need to add some sleeves. To make the sleeves for the sweater, we're going to use the foot of the sock, and with our scissors, we're going to cut off the heel of the sock. So we've cut off the heel portion of the sock, and at the top, measure down 7 centimeters. Make a mark, and with your scissors, cut across at the 7 centimeter mark. Take the portion of sock that we just cut that is 7 centimeters long, fold it in half, and with your scissors, cut across to make two pieces, one for each sleeve. Take one of the sleeves and turn it inside out and fold it. With your ruler at the top of the sleeve, measure 3 centimeters and make a mark with your pen. And at the bottom of the sleeve, measure over 1.5 centimeters and make a mark with your pen. At the 3 centimeter point and the 1.5 centimeter point, take your ruler, line those 2 points up, and make a line down with your pen. With your scissors, cut across that line. This is going to be the sleeve for the sweater, and when we open the fabric up, it should be 6 centimeters across the top and 3 centimeters across the bottom. Repeat that for the other piece of fabric, and now you have 2 pieces of fabric to make the sleeves for the sweater. Take a straight pin and place it at the fold of the fabric. Open up the fabric and line up the pin with the shoulder point of the sweater. At the point where we just put the pin and we lined up the sweater, take your needle and thread and sew it a couple of times just to hold it on to the sweater. Now that you've sewn across the sleeve with the crossover stitch, continue and sew all the way back using your standard stitch. This is what the sleeve looks like once it's sewn on the sweater. This is the sleeve, and this is the front of the sweater, and this is the back of the sweater. And then also sew the other sleeve on the other side of the sweater and repeat the same steps that we did for this sleeve. Take the sweater and flip it over so that the right side is facing out. Take that little piece of cuff that we cut off for the neckline in the beginning of the sweater, and there's a little rigid piece on the end, so with our scissors we're going to cut that piece off. Take the piece of band and fold it in half, and on the end of the sleeve with the right side facing up, match it up to the end of the sleeve so that all three parts of the fabric are joined together, the folded part of the cuff and the part of the sleeve. With your needle and thread, tack the fabric on one end and then tack it on the other end, and then stretch the fabric apart, and then again with your needle and thread, sew all three parts of the fabric together all the way across. Now that we've sewn it all the way across, when you open up the fabric, now you have a cuff for the sleeve of the sweater. Also repeat this on the second sleeve. This is how the sweater is looking so far. We have the front and the back of the sweater, the two sleeves. We've just made cuffs for the sleeves, and now we're going to make a waistband for the front and the back of the sweater. To make the waistband for the sweater, we're going to use the second sock, and there's a cuff at the top of the sock, and we're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut off the cuff. Here's the band cut off of the sock, and with your scissors cut on one side of the band, also cut on the other side. And now you have two pieces to make a waistband for the sweater, one for the front and one for the back. To sew the waistband on the sweater, we're going to sew it with the right side facing out, and we're going to sew it the same way we did for the cuffs of the sleeves. Take the band and match it up to the bottom of the sweater so that all three pieces are matched up. With your needle and thread, sew the band across the bottom of the sweater. Once you've sewn the band across and you flip it over, then you have a waistband for the sweater. With the second band, also repeat this on the other side. Now we're ready to sew the sweater together. Pick up the sweater, turn it over so the wrong side is facing out. Grab the sweater at the shoulders, pick it up, put the sweater together and lay it down, lining up the sleeves and the body. I pinned the sweater together, and now with your needle and thread, sew up the body and across the sleeve, and do that on both sides, joining up the waistbands and also the cuffs of the sleeve. Here's the sweater all sewn. We've sewn down the sleeves and down the body. And now we're going to take the sweater and we're going to turn it right side out. And there is your sweater made from a pair of socks in a 1/6 scale. That's how you make sweaters for your dolls from a pair of socks. I also made these sweaters, and if you follow me on my Instagram, it's at 1.6 scale dolls. I'm posting a picture of a sweater of the month, so January to December, 12 months, and I'm doing the first 12 Barbie Looks dolls. And then each month I'm just doing the theme of that month. So January was cold, so I did snowflakes. February was for Valentine's Day with the hearts. March was St. Patrick's Day with the green clovers. April was Easter, but I couldn't find an Easter sock big enough to make for the dolls. They only had children's size Easter socks. So I made the cassette tapes. And then May was Mother's Day, and I made the cool mom sweater. I also made some sweaters for the holidays. These are actually the first sweaters that I made last year at Christmas time, and gave me the idea to make them for all the different months. Here are some other holiday sweaters that I have made from socks, and I've also made Canada Day sweaters from Canada Day socks. And you can also make your sweaters plain. You don't have to have them with patterns on them. I also made this Wonder Woman sweater, and when I saw the Wonder Woman socks at the store, I definitely had to make the Wonder Woman sweater for my mini-me. There are so many styles of sweaters you can make for the dolls. The possibilities are endless. You can also make a sweater for the Ken doll. All of the steps are the same that we made for the original size sweater. To fit the Ken size sweater, you just have to use larger measurements and a larger sock. To make the sweater for the Ken doll, you use a larger sock, a shoe size 7 to 12, and the body of the sweater is 9 centimeters instead of 8. The sleeve is 8 centimeters instead of 7, and the sleeve is 7 centimeters on the top and 5 centimeters on the bottom. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you give this DIY a try and make some sweaters for your dolls from a pair of socks. Thanks for watching my video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you next time.